let's get to it. So there are 4 common measures of dispersion, or how spread out things are. The first of which is called range. We'll use that today. And also, there's another one called interquartile range. Okay. We'll compute that today too. Okay. There's also something called variance. You might see this in gen ed stats, which is Math 102, or Gen Ed Math, which is Math 104, a class that comes directly after this if you need it, but won't be in 095. And there's also something called standard deviation. And this is the first step, and then in 2.7, so we're doing this box plots, and then we will look at standard deviation, and then after that in 2.7 normal curves. So later Gator. So okay, so let's write down some of these things like the range. The range, how you compute that, I'm just going to put the formula right here, is maximum minus the minimum. So the highest number minus the lowest number. Quartile 1 is the number in the middle of the low half of the data set. So let's write that number. Okay, so split your data set in half. That's the low number. We call it Q1 for short. First quarter. And second quarter, you know what? I'm going to use these to match up with interquartile range. Quarter 2, well, that's the middle. So that's the median. Okay, so second quarter. And then, so it splits it in 50-50. Quartile 3 is the number in the middle of the high half. So cutting off the upper 25%, and so 75, 25 the data. Number in the middle of the high half. So split the data set into 2 using the median, and then find the middle of the high half, find the middle of the low half, then you split it into quarters. Okay. And the interquartile range as a formula is Q3 minus Q1, giving you how far apart the inner 50% of the data is. So chop off the low 25%, chop off the high quarter, and then just look in the middle and find out how spread out is the middle stuff. Okay, let's look at example 2. Waiting times. Recall the wait times for Betty's barbecue are, there they are. And for Big Back barbecue are those. Okay, so we have some groups of numbers that give us some wait times before being served at barbecue joints. Calculate each of the following for Betty's barbecue, the range. Okay, so I look and I'm like, what is the maximum number or the highest number? And I see a 9. Yeah. So, and then I say, what is the lowest? I see that right here. So 8 minutes. So the difference between the person who had to wait the longest and the shortest, 8 minutes difference. Okay, what else is it looking for? The quartiles and the interquartile range. Well, if we are going to compute that, we are going to need to put this data set in order from low to high. So let me kind of piggyback these. 1 is the lowest. Got it. 1. 2 2s. I see a 3, a 4. Are there any other 4s? No. A 5, a 6, a 7, 5, 6. Actually, I see 2 7s. I see an 8, an 8, and a 9. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I got them all. So let's find quartile 2. So, you know, I'm thinking there's 11. So I'm thinking it's around the 5th entry because 11 split in half is 5.5. But with a short list like this, I'll just go ahead and find the middle by squeezing towards, there it is. That is exactly the middle. So Q2, 5, that's the median. Okay, same. Quartile 1. So now we look and we say, let's look at the low half. Okay, well, there's the middle. We look at the low half and we find the middle of that. There it is, 2. Okay, so Q1 is equal to 2. There's the middle of the low half. And then you say, okay, middle of the high half. Here, let me cut these. Here's the high half. Okay, so it's kind of splitting at 50-50 where this 5 is like, where do I go? It's like the Mississippi River. It's just federal territory. And then the middle of this, so the middle of the high half is Q3, and that is 7. And interquartile range. Okay, so that means, so going back, and I also want you to see that this tries to chop it into quarters. So, you know, it's like, oh, there's a quarter, there's a quarter, a quarter, a quarter. It's not perfect because there's 11 and you can't split 11 by 4 perfectly, but pretty close. Interquartile range, Q3 minus Q1. If we look back, there's our formula. So this is just a memorized formula or whatever. Q3 was 7 minutes and Q1 was 2 minutes. So in the middle, so the middle range. So if we ignore the extreme lows and we ignore the extreme highs or the lows and the highs, right? We cut off those tail ends. We look and we say, okay, how far apart is this middle bundle? And those are 5 minutes. That's a 5-minute span. So it says, finish the sentence. The middle 50% of people served at Betty's barbecue, and I would say wait between 2 to 7 minutes. To get served. And that's a span of 5 minutes difference. Now do the same thing for Big Back Barbecue. Okie dokie. Here we go. So we look back to Big Back Barbecue's data list. The high was 20. The low is 2, I see. High 20, low 2. So high 20, low 2. Got it. And I'm also thinking of this max minus min, so high minus low, 20 minus 2. 20 minutes minus 2 minutes is 18 minutes wide range. Those people are feeling a lot different. Okay, quartiles. So if we're going to do that, we again need to write them in order to find low half, high half. So, all right. I'll use green just to kind of separate this. Let's see. So the data set, and I'm going to write my list right here. I see a low of 2, a 3, a 4, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, oh, a 5, a 5, 5, 5, 6, 6. I see a 7, an 8, and then a jump to a 20. So let's count to just verify I haven't left something out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 customers. Got them all. Okay, and now let's chop this up. So quartile 2 is the median. So first I'm going to cut it into low half, high half with the median. So cover up these, those, 4 and the 7, 5 and the 6, and it looks like it's right here now between the 5 and the 6. Oh, and right in the middle of 5 and 6. So quartile 2 is 5.5. Now I was able to do that in my head, but really what I'm thinking is 5 plus 6 makes 11. And in the middle of that, or half of that, is 5.5. So quartile 2 is 5.5 minutes, or in other words, the median is 5.5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. Got it. Okay, now I look at this data set and I say, okay, where's the middle of this low half across this median? And it is 4. Okay, so quartile 1 is 4 minutes. Got it. It's already bigger. Anyway, okay. And quartile 3, where's that? Okay, and so just so that we can visually see, 10 is also not divisible by 4, so it won't be perfect quarters either. It is perfect halves, 50-50, because 10 is divisible by 2, but now it's not perfect here in terms of 25% in each, but it does make it, oh, this is 7 right here, yeah? The middle of the high half, Q3, 7 minutes. Got it. So then it says, find the interquartile range for big back barbecue. Well, the interquartile range, which is Q3 minus Q1. So the range between, if you chopped off the outer quarters, is, let's see, so Q3 is 7. Take away 4. Oh, that's 3 minutes. So if you get rid of the extremes and you just look at the middle people, like, then, so getting rid of extremes and kind of looking at that, we see that, okay, get rid of these 2 tails, and those are pretty, like, there's not a big span. It's pretty predictable that you're going to wait around 5.5 minutes, to be honest. Whereas up here, when we did that, you're like, well, you could wait 2 minutes or you could wait 7. So this one had a bigger span, even in the middle one, or middle quarters, without looking at the extremes than this one. This one is more predictable, except for these extremes in general. Finish the sentence. The middle 50% of people served at Big Back Barbecue wait between, and I would say 7 to 4 minutes, or 4 to 7 minutes to get served. Because it's chopping off the extremes, middle 50%. So now let's use our calculator to see all of this business. Okay, using the calculator. So here we go. Choose statistics, and You know, it says that we're going to use one variable stats, but we need list one to contain this. So before I even do this, I have to enter my data. So I need to edit. And oh, it looks like I already have some. So I'm going to clear this data set. And for list two, I'm also going to clear and push enter for that. List one. Okay, let me bring back Betty's list. So, or, you know, I like to even do it from scratch so that I don't accidentally make some extra errors. Okay, 2, 7, 1, 3, 2, 7, 9, 8, 4, 5, 6. And that said that there are 11, I notice right there. So I'm good. List two for Big Back Barbecue, 5, 8, 20, 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 7, 6. And it says that there are 10. So we're good to go there. Okay, back to, okay, so let me second quit to get back to the regular screen and choose statistics or stat, arrow over. So use my right button to get to calculate, and I'm going to choose, it's one variable, it's just minutes. So I'm going to hit enter. I make sure that this says L1. And if it doesn't, it's right there. So this would be a second one to get L1 written there. I hit enter, enter, and calculate. And we see this whole thing. Okay, we definitely did that. So let's go back. List one was Betty's. So just so that we can kind of see what's going on here. At the tippity top, it's giving us the mean average. We're not looking at that. It says that there are 11 customers, that the minimum was 1, and I can check my minimum, my Q1, my median, and my Q3, and my max. So I see my max 9, my min 1, so good there. I also see my quartile 1 is 2, my median was 5, my quartile 3 was 7. So this calculator can give us all of that so that you can immediately jump to the interquartile range in terms of computations using those formulas. So it's kind of handy, not going to lie. And actually, see those 5 numbers at the bottom starting at min? There's 5 of them. That's called the 5-number summary, which we'll talk about too. Oh, as a matter of fact, let's talk about it right now. 5-number summary is the minimum, quartile 1, the median, which is also AKA Q2, okay, quartile 3, and then the maximum. So they're saying, to summarize this data set, those are what tells you the top and low, the high and the low extremes, and the quarters in between. When it comes to a box plot, there are some things that you should think about when creating it. The first thing that you should do is you should make a horizontal scale like an x-axis. So draw a horizontal scaled line. Okay. So you should just always start with a horizontal straight line. So when I think about that, I'm like, something like that. Yeah, just start with that. And then you put a dot above the minimum. And on this line, I didn't put a scale, but I really do mean like 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah. I don't know what you need to count from and to, but that's what I mean by a horizontal scaled line. Dot above the minimum. Okay, you want to include bars, vertical bars. Maybe I should say bars standing up straight at or above Q1, Q2 or the median, and Q3. The next step is put a dot above the maximum. Okay. And then you're going to connect these to create a box. So connect Q1, the median, and Q3 as a box, and then I'm going to put another step in here, although I didn't include it in my last notes, which is to connect the dots to the box. So connect min and max dots to the box. And that sometimes it typically happens, especially for just a regular box plot. Okay, so now let's do that for Big Back Barbecue and Betty. Oh, just Big Back. Sure. So the 5-number summary, let's go back to that. Let's find it. So just so that I can rewrite it, min, Q1, median in the middle, 75% or third quarter, and then max for the completion or for the high. Okay, so I know we have these all written down, right? Here we go. So there's our max and our min. Our min was 2 minutes. Okay, quartile 1 was 4. So I see 4, 5.5, and 7. 4 minutes, 5.5 minutes, 7 minutes, and then the maximum was 20 minutes. Here is our 5-number summary for Big Back's data on wait time. Create a box plot for the wait times at Big Back Barbecue. You bet. Absolutely. Has to go from 2 to 20 minutes. Okay, so my first step is to create a line and say, I'm going to even label this that this is wait time in minutes. And okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I better put at least a couple marks here. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so I went from 2 to 20 because that spanned my min to my max. And I made them equal spaced, just like I would for a ruler or an x-axis or any of the sort. I put a dot above the minimum, a dot above the minimum, check. So I'm going through my steps here. Vertical bars above Q1, the median, and Q3. So at 4, here's 4 minutes, I draw a vertical bar. At 5.5 minutes, okay, so this is 5 and this is 6. At 5.5, so right here, I draw another vertical bar. And at 7 minutes, I make yet another vertical bar. Got it. Okay, so standing up tall at these, at the middle, a dot above the maximum, which was 20. And then I connect Q1, median, and Q3 and create a box. And then last step, so there was the box of the box plot, connect the min and max dots to that box. So then I just connect these like so. They often call this a box with whiskers. It does kind of look like a nose of a rabbit or something, but anyway, but this shows that this was pretty extreme, actually, visually speaking. It's saying, look, the middle 50 are between 4 and 7, and they're right here. Pretty predictable. The low was close, but on the side, and then the max was way out here, pretty far away. Now use your calculator to do this. Sure. I don't, there's a space here, but really we're just showing it on the calculator. I'm going to clear that. And now right here above y equals, you see stat plot. I'm going to go second y equals, and it brings me to this. Here, maybe I'll go like that here. And then, so I'm going to hit enter. Maybe I should actually zoom out. So now I decided maybe I want more of my calculator showing. Zoom out. I need to turn it on. So I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to go down. I don't want a scatter like dots. I don't want a connected dots or a bar graph. I want one that looks like this, Boxplot. And for Big Back, I didn't have mine in list 1. I had it in list 2. So I'm going to need to go second 2 to change that one to L2. Okay. Now I'll zoom in. Okay. And now that everything is turned on in terms of this stat plot here, where I went second stat plot to do all of this, making sure that all of them are correct and highlighted. I'm going to go to zoom and go down to number 9. It says statistics. Zoom stat. Oh, it looks like I have something in my y equals. Uh-oh, I did not clear my y equals. I'm going to go back to my graph. And there it is. Looks pretty darn close to the drawing I made. Our scales were just a little bit different because this is a small screen and I had a big paper. So, but nonetheless, there it is. Okay. So, this section gives us a first step into thinking about interpreting quartiles, because those are really just quarters. Yeah. And computing and using some basic measures of dispersion and creating and interpreting box plots.